This is Smithy.tv.
Tonight, then, on Smithy TV, the Mind Reels is happy to present. You know what? I still get giddy over that. The whole fact that it's tonight on Smithy TV, the Mind Reels is happy to present. With me,
are you worried it could be poison?
With me,
film at 11.
Sue Maynard on my left.
Hello.
I'm Tim Rideout. Joining us this week is Rodrigo Gudino.
Yes.
Am I right? Did I get it right? Yes. Who is not only a director of an awesome movie we're going to talk about tonight, because both Sue and I loved this movie.
Cool.
You are also the founder of Rue Morgue magazine.
Yes.
Which is just kind of freaking awesome. So, so you know your horror movies basically is yeah.
You've seen a few, yeah.
Which will lead us in nicely to our opening question, because we always ask this of every guest.
Yeah.
All-time favorite movie.
Well, I'd have to be very, very boring and very classic, and have to say The Exorcist. I really think that movie is.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it ends up on people's top 10. I think because for a very good reason, because it's really effective.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that's more nerve shattering. That ages so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I picked up the anniversary Blu-ray there when it came out, and I know the film. I'm not going to say backwards and forwards, but I know it enough that I know what's coming. There's no jumps, there's no scares, but I'm watching it, and I've got like the surround sound system set up, and I know the phone's going to ring because that's what happens in the scene. But it came from behind me, which has never happened before. And I'm like, what the hell was that? So good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a brilliant choice. And I think it's the first time that's come up in for any of our guests.
I think so,
yeah. But yeah.
Well done.
Nice work, sir.
Yeah, I remember watching the first time I saw the re-included scenes.
Oh, the spider walk.
I was like, well, that was like one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. Let's watch it again. It was like, it's amazing that you could experience the same movie, but like completely differently as an adult, and then years later, but just because a couple of little things are added in, suddenly it's a whole new ball game.
Freaky. Oh, good choice. The sound on that is just so good. Yeah. Now, we do want to talk about your movie, but give us a little history on Rue Morgue. I mean, where did that even come from?
Well, let me see. I was in the music business back in 1996, and I'd been there for a few years, and I had a background in publishing and stuff. And magazines, actually. And so I wanted to do my own thing. I think it was a little bit about wanting to kind of just branch out and explore something. And I always loved horror, and I decided let's give this a go. And I guess the thing behind Rue Morgue was that it was a cultural. It looked at horror in culture and entertainment. So it wasn't only, It wasn't only about films, which a lot of magazines were at that time. I think were very centered on films, and for us it was more, the films, but as well the entire culture, music and toys and games and everything, fashion. That was really blossoming at the time. Mm-hmm. So it was very good for us, within a few years. Before I knew it, people like Clive Barker and Toby Hooper were reading the magazine, which was a real
love Clive Barker.
I didn't know until later, which was really staggering. But and it just kind of grew from there. Rue Morgue's now also an annual festival, fan expo, which is called the Festival Fear. Which we're heading into our 10th year now, which is pretty amazing.
I think that's how I first discovered you, was through Festival of Fear.
Yeah, because you've always got that table.
Yeah, because I was there in 2005 was my first. I had never even heard of Fan Expo before that.
Yeah.
And I was just like this the whole time. But Rue Morgue had like a whole corner, and people had vampire bite mark tattoos and stuff. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. It's been great for us, obviously, for just to connect with the fans here.
Yeah.
And bring people from the horror community and and just celebrate the whole thing. And then we have also the Cinemacabre film nights and we do every month. And oh gosh,
I'm a big fan of those too.
Rue Morgue Radio and Rue Morgue podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the newest thing would be the films,
which are amazing. Because I actually we were talking about it today, and I finally put up my semi-review of the film, and just we were talking about it, and it's just so tight. I mean, there's not a wasted moment, there's not a wasted scene. And it's creepy as hell.
The last will and testament of Rosalind Leigh is what we're discussing.
Well, I hope to make it creepy. It's weird because I've been taking this movie on tour with film festivals. Film festivals have been programming it, which is really fantastic. But it's a little bit strange because the film, when I wrote it and I made it, I didn't really make it for a crowd experience. I made it for more individuals. Like I was the target audience would be someone alone in their home.
That's how we watched it.
So that was, as few people as possible. And I wanted to be very introspective and very. You're supposed to notice things that aren't on the screen, and things that are outside of the frame, and things you're supposed to kind of trip out into it. So when you're at a festival, it's very difficult to get people to do that. It seems to be working. So
excellent.
People like it, so that's great.
Yes.
They're just having a slightly different experience than you planned.
It's an awesome, because we walked by the table at Fan Expo, and what drew us first, like the first thing that drew, and it's in the review as well if anybody's reading it at home, was the poster by Ghoulish Gary.
Yeah.
Which is a gorgeous poster.
Yeah.
And both Sue and I stopped and said, huh. and then I remember you kind of wandered along and looked at some of the magazines, and I stood there and I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hear the sound, but just watching, I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, Sue.
Look at this.
and then thanks to you and your producer, we got a chance to see it because we missed the Fan Expo screening, and it's amazing.
Oh, great. Well, I'm really, really happy you guys liked it. And Gary, knocked it out of the park.
It's a great poster.
He's amazing. There's a reason why he was art director of
yeah, exactly.
12 years or whatever it was. Yeah.
And then the thing that really threw me, I think, was the stitch work, like all the little stitch work, little signs she has. Now, did you make any of those up, or are those all okay, good?
Those were
because that fork one freaked me out.
Actually, I had a tactical cross stitching team. These two girls who cross stitched all that stuff in record time. But yeah, they were. When you have a film that's essentially one person, you need to interact with the environment. Mm-hmm. So I needed to make the environment as interesting as possible, or So, and having this sort of secondary story about the mother talking about her relationship with this guy, I found having these cross stitching was a way to kind of have her communicate to him when she wasn't there, right? It's supposed to kind of alert you for the first time that you're not really in a natural environment, you're in a supernatural environment. Yeah. Where things happen. If the tap drips, then there will be storm,
Yeah, I was like,
things like that. So
that's so good. Because that whole fork one, as soon as I read it, I'm like, oh, that's not going to be good. And then there's the knock at the door. I'm like, come on. And Aaron Poole is so good. I mean, he's literally almost in every frame of the film.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's by himself for almost all of it. I mean, you don't see anybody else that he's interacting with. I mean, like the door opens when the guy comes to see him, but you don't see the guy.
Yeah.
And he is literally carrying that film on his own.
Yeah, that was sort of the conceit of the film. My producer, I've been working on another film called Cutthroat's 9, which is a remake of a Western that was made that nobody has ever seen. Which is great, because I like to remake. I'm interested in remaking a movie that nobody's seen, not a movie that everybody's seen.
Yeah, which makes more sense. Yeah.
Up next, E.T.
It's quite a big project, and it's taking time to put together. So my producer said, "Look, what can you do that's small?
Mm-hmm.
Think really, really small." I said, "Well, the best thing I can come up with is one guy in one location, basically, and a good percentage of the movie he's not even in the location." So they were saying, "Well, how would you do that?" So that's sort of how I came up with this story, right? But Aaron was a little bit think he was a little bit nervous at the beginning because he really.
I guess, yeah.
On set, he was interacting with just people who were talking the lines to him, and most, except for one actor, none of them were there really. Wow. So he was a little nervous. And I think he was really nervous at the first screening too, because he was like, "Man, I'm in the, there's nobody,
just me." Yeah.
This movie's gonna stand and fall by me. But I think he did really, really well.
Yeah.
And I think he really carried it well.
Oh, loved it. And then of course you have Vanessa Redgrave as the mother's voice. How do you score Vanessa Redgrave for something like that?
That's a great question. Well, I got to tell you that the reason I got Vanessa Redgrave was because she really liked the script.
Nice.
And she kept telling me that when we were doing our session, and I was, at the beginning I thought, well, I guess she liked it, but she really, really liked it.
Wow.
And, she's done a lot of stuff.
She has. Yeah.
She has.
She's Hollywood pedigree, and she's it was a little bit surreal, to say the least, to work with her because I've never had this happen before. I don't know how familiar you guys with filmmaking, but usually you do a bunch of takes and you kind of perfect the takes, and in her case, the very, very first thing we did, we talked about the script and we ironed out a few things, and the very first take that she did, the very first line that she did was absolutely perfect. So there was, for me as a director, I had nowhere to go. She's like,
I'm gonna get a coffee.
Perfect. I don't know what to say. So I said maybe we'll do one for safety, but she didn't like the idea of doing things for safety reasons. She just was like, if you like it, let's move on. So she was pretty great. I think she really elevated the material to where it needed to be because
she was perfect for the voice.
Yeah, she really was.
Brought presence without ever appearing on screen. To the whole film, which was amazing.
Yeah. That was what was needed. Really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really needed to feel this person. And it's very hard, especially I think for modern audiences, to feel anything they're not seeing.
Yeah.
It's not sort of there, it's not tangible. So you have to just kind of lose yourself in her voice, and she's got a great
she sure does.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there going, that's Vanessa Redgrave. And that was one of the first questions I had, like, as soon as I knew we were going to chat with you, I'm like, how do you get Vanessa Redgrave? But
I'm still kind of like, wow, you got Vanessa Redgrave.
Not sure how that happened, but great.
And the whole angel cult thing was freaking me out. And because I'm not a big fan of statues in the first place, but then I'm also a huge Doctor Who fan, and they've got this whole thing with weeping angels. And
that's right. Somebody mentioned that, and they asked me if I was influenced by it. Now, it turns out that I'm a really big Doctor Who fan, but of the Tom Baker years. I actually don't know anything after Tom Baker.
Yeah, he was my first Doctor, so I get that.
The weeping statues, that's a relatively...
It is. Right? It's from a couple years ago. Yeah, it's just these angels who, if you look at them, they can't move, but if you look away or you blink, they can move.
Oh, wow.
And
that's
it's
cool
just...
but
You're just creepy all on their own.
They really are.
I didn't. Somebody mentioned that, and I felt kind of dumb because I thought maybe that's a Tom Baker episode, and I was like,
subliminally influenced.
No way. No, it was
retroactively influenced, maybe.
No, in this film, I think they were more. It was when you have a haunted house film and. It's thinking ghosts, and a lot of the times you're also thinking, Satan or demons.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of get away from that. I wanted there to be a ghostly presence, but it's a little bit more complex. So an angel, they are usually. They represent
fairly benign.
But in this case, when they're sort of put to you, like you have to believe something, and if you or else, then when the or else comes, and they can be not very friendly. So it was kind of that exploring I guess the religious tension between Leon and his mom.
Yeah.
So, and the whole thing with the broken statue and then it's not. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing to me?
I'm glad it worked.
Yeah, it was so.
He left it downstairs. He didn't leave it downstairs.
So good. And you've done this huge tour with it. I mean, you're everywhere with it right now.
Well, yeah, it turns out that I just did a 10-city European tour, filmed it, and now we're doing, I'm heading to Sweden next week for the Stockholm Film Festival, which is great. One of the good things about this film is, even though, obviously it's a horror film, and it's I watched it the other day while I was in Spain, and I was watching it with the audience. It's just very dark, there's not a lot of light moments in it. It just kind of gets dark. I thought, this is kind of maybe use a few lighter moments, but anyway, it turns out that film festivals that are not specifically horror film festivals are also programming it. So they're kind of like, I guess they see it more as a story between this mother and her son. Those aspects of it.
Yeah.
See it as more of a sad and a tragic story, which is really fantastic. I have to say, it's really, really great to be able to sort of open it up to different audiences. So next is Stockholm, and then after that we're doing like 3 dates in Mexico. Wow. And then a Canadian premiere.
Did you plan those for a nice February week or so?
Nice and sunny. Damn. But the tour is great, but the reviews have also been really outstanding for them, because I've been hitting the Facebook page and everybody's just glowing about this movie.
Yeah. You kind of have to pinch yourself and wonder, is the other foot gonna drop? Well, I still think. I'm very happy that people have been finding it. I've thought it's great, and they're connecting with it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I wrote it and I made it, I don't see it as a film for everybody. It's a very unique kind of. It's a very. You have to kind of get into it. You have to kind of really. I think the more you look at it and take the time to notice things, the more you'll get out of it. But a lot of people, they're not like that. They like to just.
Yeah, they just want the experience, and
which is totally cool too. Don't get me wrong. I love a movie like Tremors. I love Tremors. Tremors is awesome. A movie that you sit back and you kind of just laugh, and it's a fun movie. This one I wouldn't say it's a fun thing where you get your friends together and you're like, let's have some fun.
Mm-hmm. Let's get creeped out.
It's more you're creeped out and you want to sort of enter into this world and kind of figure out what it is.
Well, I think I put that in the review.
You don't really want the distraction of other people around,
you want to
because you want to get into his headspace and
because I'm looking forward to the chance to be able to actually go back and rewatch it now, knowing everything that happens in it.
Yeah, cool.
Because no spoilers, because we don't do that. Right. But everything you find at the end, through the course of the movie, especially towards the end, you're like, oh, and it just turns everything on its head, and you're like, now I kind of want to watch it again with this knowledge and kind of apply that, which is brilliant. I love that. Cool. Which, kind of ties in nicely because you guys got picked up by Anchor Bay.
Yes, actually, Anchor Bay.
Oh, I forgot about that news.
Very happy. They really liked it, and so they will be distributing it. It looks like it's going to do a limited theatrical sometime next year. In March, I think, and in the spring sometime. And then after that, Anchor Bay will be putting it out on DVD. I think it's April or
for that.
Or something like that. Actually, this upcoming week it's at the American Film Market as well. So I imagine there'll be some news coming out of that, and seeing
excellent.
Where else the movie will be. But the main thing is it's out of Canada. Anyway, in the U.S. And then it'll obviously, I guess, trickle around. See where it goes out.
Well, I think it'll be one of those. I think it'll be one of those huge word of mouth titles where everybody just says, it'll turn into one of those cult things. It'll be like, have you seen this? Take this home and watch this, and because
is Rue Morgue gonna do a big?
Well, we did. I think we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be presenting the film, and we're gonna be doing like a bunch of stuff with the DVD and interesting stuff. But I think that You know, it's really weird because I'm sitting here talking about this movie, but I kind of I shot it last year, exactly 1 year ago, and I finished it in whatever it was, mostly finished it by Cannes, but after that it was just sort of tinkering with it, right? So, I'm kind of be going on to the next thing. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I just kind of
ready to move on.
Yeah, just kind of do the things and put the DVD together and make some appearances and stuff, but really it's now we get the next movie off the ground.
Yeah, especially if it's a Western. Let's do that.
Well, it turns out to have this other film, it could be before the Western, so you never know. It's funny because people, ask me, what are you going to do next, or would you, what do you want to do next? But a lot of times it's not really what you want. You kind of have 5 sticks in the fire, and then you see which one catches, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's more that way. If I had my way, I probably would have done Cutthroat Time first. But now I'm happy I didn't because it's a big production. So there may be something else. I just have a few sticks, and they're all hot, and people are interested. But we'll see which one catches fire. And you're just okay, we'll do that one.
I love a good Western, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this one's really crazy and violent. And
so
different from Rosalind Leigh, because Rosalind Leigh's also understatement and subtlety. Mm-hmm. This one's not subtle. Yeah. This one's very in your face, and it'll be more like what we were talking about before, where you kind of go to a film, and that one for sure you want to see with all your buddies or your friends, and you can just sit back and take it all in. It'll be like a punch to the face. So it's a bit more like that.
Oh man. Great, now I want to go home and watch all my Westerns.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's going to be a long wait. Oh, but that sounds so wicked. So yeah, you've got the tour, you've got Rue Morgue, which the magazine is awesome, let's be honest. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Every time I go to Fan Expo, you just get all the magazine covers, and the art is fantastic.
Yeah.
And you just did the big Universal Monsters issue, which was awesome.
Great. Yeah, those guys really, we try to do something special with our Halloween issue every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, we hadn't really done anything really, really huge on the Universal Monsters. And of course, it's such a huge...
Oh, yeah.
We could do, practically a magazine on the
Yeah, exactly.
So over the years, we've been very fortunate because we've met and befriended people like Sarah Karloff and Bela Lugosi Jr. and Ron Chaney and all the children of the famous monsters, and along with Universal, they really helped us put together really great issues.
Oh. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, because I literally rewatched those in the past. Oh, it's got to be in the past 2 or 3 months easily.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine bought me the 101 horror movies to see before you die.
Right. Okay.
And of course, all the Universal monsters are in the 30s, and they're all there in the book. So,
that's fantastic.
Good stuff.
That's a fun project.
Yeah.
It's
fantastic.
How long is it going to take you to get through?
Where am I now? I'm in 1992. I just watched Candyman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it only goes to 2007, I think.
Okay,
I think the last one is The Orphanage.
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah, actually, a little known factor. I don't know how well it's known, but back in the early days of Rue Morgue, right at the very beginning, I started up a film night.
We'll be okay.
Great, we're haunted.
I started up a film night of 100 films that were taken from Stephen King's book called Danse Macabre.
Ooh.
And so we decided to watch those chronologically. Yeah, and it took about a year, I think, to watch all 100 films. But it was like a film school, and it was really great. You really get to see how the films kind of reference each other, and you get to discover a lot of films that people don't talk about.
Which is the great thing. I've got that list on the go, and I've got the 101 sci-fi films on the go. There's so much I have seen and so much I haven't seen, and then just watching the genre grow and how it changes from decade to decade, you're like, because some of the 50s stuff, like the 50s horror, I love. The 50s sci-fi, not so much. But yeah, there's some good.
What was
stuff.
Was it Jacob's Ladder that you actually had not seen deliberately because of the hype?
Ladder. Yeah, because of all the hype. Everybody's like, you have to see this, and I didn't watch it. And then when I finally watched it, I'm like, this is all right.
Yeah, you have sometimes if you don't see it right away, then it gets kind of wrecked for you, and you have to have that distance, I think.
Yeah.
But don't do that with Rosalind Leigh. See this. If you get a chance to see this in one of the festivals it's playing, see this movie. It's so good. It's gorgeous. I think for one of the first times in any review, I actually use the word beautiful because I'm not a big fan of the word beautiful. It gets overused.
Yeah, sure.
And it's a beautifully shot film. I mean, everything's framed perfectly. Everything works.
That's great. And there's so much in it. It's almost a tactile environment because there's so much stuff there.
Yeah, great. Actually, I just got news today, which is fantastic. Our director of photography, Sammy Anaye, is the guy who shot it, and he just was awarded best cinematographer for the film.
I saw that.
Yes,
on Facebook.
Thank God for Facebook. So he was just awarded today. I heard the news, so
it's so gorgeous.
I'm glad you guys liked it.
Well, even the booth at Fan Expo, there was just so much happening. I was like reading the book titles by the chair and stuff. I was like,
kind of want to take your time and
kind of get lost in that one little chunk.
Did you get a picture?
Oh yeah, we put it right at the bottom of the review as well. So
ours wasn't as cool as other people's though, because we didn't know about the split screen thing at first. We were just
sitting in the chairs,
chatting about everything else ahead of time, and then we're like, let's get in the chairs, and it's creepy.
It was all the split screen thing they had to.
It was so cool.
Especially the people that were in costume. There were some really ingeniously disturbing things that came out of that.
It was a really good idea.
It was so good. And then you guys were there on the Saturday, I think it was it not? Or
I think that particular thing, we were there throughout the entire show with the booth, I think, with the Rosalind Leigh photo booth.
I got my poster signed.
Yep.
Great.
That's how we met. That's how this day came about.
That's right.
Well, you're talking about the cast. Yeah, it was released on Sunday. Yeah.
That's what it was. I knew it was one of the S days.
Yeah. Did you get to meet Julian?
We did. Yeah. One of our friends is a huge Supernatural fan as well. So he signed one of the pictures for her.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
I keep telling them I want to put him in every one of them.
So. He was just so freaky in that movie.
And there's two of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But I really can't wait to watch it again because there's not a lot of movies that I will go around touting to everybody and say you need to see this movie, but this is one of them because it's just.
And really, if I hadn't had to work the next morning, I would have just turned around and watched it again right away because that's exactly how I felt at the end of it. It was like, I need to go right back to the beginning now.
I think we almost were texting each other through it because I remember texting you and going, I'm starting it. And
Sue sent me one of those. We're watching separately.
We watched it separately the same night and then talked about it more the next day because neither of us wanted to talk during. Pretty much. I was just thinking, I actually wish I could watch it in the theater, but with nobody else really there. I want like the full big screen surround sound feeling, but as opposed to my netbook.
It was so good.
Well, thanks guys. I really appreciate it.
And I think that's a good place to kind of tie it up.
Probably is.
Rodrigo, thank you for finding the time, especially with all that touring you're doing with this movie. See this movie because it's so good, and it's Canadian.
And it's like the day after Halloween.
Perfect.
Good lord.
But so continued luck with the continued tour, especially in Sweden and then Mexico. Come on, how tough is that going to be? Sweden and Mexico? Come on.
That's right. It'll have to twist my rubber arm.
And Mexico seems to have a good little horror audience on the go too.
They have a quite.
They've got quite the rabid fan base for.
There's a couple of
more and more stuff that's coming out.
There's. I wasn't aware of a lot of their festivals because I just wasn't aware of them. But they have some really great festivals there, really well attended. People really have a very kind of morbid, side to them over there. Thank God for that, right? All the.
Well, they've got the cool cemeteries where they bury everybody above ground and stuff, and have all the little shrines built in. The whole thing's creepy. It's awesome. It's perfect.
Dia de los Muertos.
I guess they've just been celebrating that.
There you go.
That's awesome. But actually, I've already even got my email into Leah Visser at Anchor Bay, so thank you, Leah, to say that I want my copy of Rosalind Leigh as soon as it comes out, because I need it. But see it, love it. We did. But Rodrigo,
We did.
thank you for coming in. That was
Thank
so
you,
awesome.
guys.
Thank you for finding the time to do it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me on, and it's been a real pleasure.
It's been awesome. So that was Sue. Thank you for sitting
Tim,
in.
thank you for having me.
We're awesome. It's true.
We're awesome.
We're awesome.
There we are.
So that would be the Mind Reels at smithy.tv, and we'll see you next time. I don't know what that was.
Here again. Next time.
In today's world, people are busy and impatient. We are on information overload. Every minute counts. People want to know what you can do for them. They won't spend time reading or searching, but they will watch a video. If it clearly explains who you are and what you do and tells them what they want to hear, they will reach out to you. You have seconds to get people's attention. You want a video that is engaging and makes the viewer feel as though it is speaking directly to their needs. Add to your sales team a short video and let it do the heavy selling for you. Or add to your social media or wherever your audience is spending their time. Videos can pay back your investment 10 times over. So now that you've heard our message, let's talk about yours. Let's bring your image to life.